Have you ever waited to be picked and watched everyone else get chosen first? Have you ever smiled when someone finally called your name, knowing that you were never really their first choice? In the heart of Maplewood Forest, every animal had a role. The lion led, the eagle soared above, the wolf ran with the pack. And then there was Finn, a small, quiet tortoise who lived at the edge of the pond where the big trees cast the longest shadows. Finn was kind. He was steady. He never asked for much. But in Maplewood, that somehow made him invisible. When the animals needed someone to help carry loads through the forest, they called the ox first. When they needed someone to guard the berries, they called the bear. When they needed company on a cold night, they gathered around the fox, whose stories were loud and dazzling. And Finn? Finn was called when the ox was busy, when the bear was asleep, when the fox had already left for brighter fires. He always showed up. He always said yes. Because that's what Finn did. He showed up even when no one had really chosen him. But late at night, at the edge of the pond, Finn would watch his own reflection and ask the water, "Is this all I am? The backup? The last resort?" One season, a storm unlike any other swept through Maplewood. The river flooded, the bridges broke. The lion roared for the eagle, but the eagle's wings were soaked. They called the wolf, but the wolf had already fled to higher ground. The fox? Nowhere to be found. There was only one path across the flooded river, one narrow stone ledge, and only one creature who had walked it 100 quiet times, alone, without applause. Finn. One by one, he guided every animal across, slowly, carefully, with a patience no speed could replace. The young deer trembling with fear, the bear too proud to admit he was terrified. Even the fox, who had never once waited for Finn, reached out and grabbed his shell in the dark. When they all reached the other side, the forest was silent except for the rain. The lion looked at Finn, really looked at him, and said, "We called you last, every time, and every time you were the one who stayed." Finn didn't cry. He didn't say, "I told you so." He just looked back across the flooded river and said quietly, "I know, but I came anyway." That night, the animals didn't gather around the fox's fire. They gathered around Finn's quiet corner of the pond. Not because he was the loudest, not because he was the fastest, but because somewhere in the storm, they had finally understood. The one who always shows up last is sometimes the one who never actually leaves. So the next time you feel like the last choice, remember Finn. Because the world doesn't just need the ones who shine the brightest. It needs the ones who stay the longest. And there is no greater strength than showing up for a world that hasn't yet learned to choose you first.